Howard Stern came back Monday of this week. He was supposed to be back the week before, according to him. Usually they're back the first week of January, but he wasn't back, and we find out why.
We were supposed to be on the air last week. We were not here because I got COVID-19. Finally. It's not fair, I know. Your hero wasn't supposed to get it. But holy shit did I get it. Now, here's the crazy thing.
What's crazy about it?
Number one, I still have it. Number two...
Are you still testing positive, or you just
yes.
have symptoms?
I'm positive.
What?
I'm positive.
I'm HIV positive.
So as we know, Howard's a hypochondriac, and we all knew this was going to be the worst thing if you ever got COVID, because if anyone thinks the propaganda doesn't work, it sure as fuck does. And Howard's convinced this will kill him. This specific coronavirus will be the death of him. And he can't now...
Isn't it COVID-23 at this point?
I'm saying it again, Andy.
I said, isn't it COVID-23 at this point?
It's 19
means the... Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same thing, for sure, as it first was. So, as we know on this show, because we've talked about it a bunch, Howard's very afraid, and he stopped going into the studio, and he was working from home forever, and he barely sees anyone. He gets in fights with his wife all the time because she wants to go out and do stuff. And they finally went out and had a dinner party somewhere, and they had to be outdoors. And then one of the walls had windows on it, and Howard was freaking out. So he's very precautious about anything. And so he cannot figure out how this happened to him.
No, you do not want COVID. Oh, fuck. Man,
well,
is it bad?
Like?
First of all, I want to say a couple of things. It's impossible that I got COVID. I haven't been anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. I did go to my mother's, but I wore a mask the entire time.
And she doesn't have COVID.
She does not have COVID. And there were two people I saw. One was my assistant, and the other one was a guy who drives me. And they both are negative. They did not have COVID. I saw them without a mask on. Other than that, I saw no one.
Could you imagine? Howard comes out with COVID. The phone call that he makes to the assistant and the driver, he must have been livid. You can only imagine. What did you do to me? You're the death of me. You killed me, motherfucker.
Also, I don't understand that at all. He started that out with, you do not want COVID.
Yes.
2024, everybody has had COVID.
Oh, I know. He's the last person to get it.
Yeah.
And he's such a baby about it.
You do not.
He cries about it so much.
Yeah, and he sounds exactly the same.
Yeah. He claims he's still
Why
sick.
is he wearing a mask in front of his mom? Is he protecting himself or his 100-year-old mother?
Neither.
Masks
don't
what does he
work.
think he's protecting? Sorry, let me
Viruses are
rephrase the
very
question.
small. They
What
go
does he
through.
think he's protecting? Himself or his mother?
Himself, I'm sure.
I think he just wants to wear a mask to hide his hideous face.
No,
he's like the Phantom of the Opera.
That's a good question from Cardiff. Why with his mom, but not the assistant and the driver who come into contact with other people?
That's true. Yeah. So it must be for
I think
his
it's
mom.
for his mom's benefit.
Unless he forces them to never see anybody else.
Well, that's also true. Everyone has to live in a bubble around him, or else you have to get tested and then sit somewhere in a corner for 2 weeks, and then you can come in and say hi to the guy. So the irony here is that there were all these fights he was having with Beth over the last couple of years, because Beth is invited to be on TV, and Beth wanted to go to a wedding, and she got invited to go hang out with her family, and Howard's freaking out. You're going to kill me. You're going to come out with a virus. Howard gave Beth COVID. Howard's the one that gave it to Beth.
I don't know. Yesterday we got into a whole fight about COVID.
Yeah. Why?
I was talking to one of my kids, and I said to one of the kids, "Oh my God, I've never seen Beth so sick. She had a horrible case of COVID." And Beth walked in and goes, "What are you saying?" I had a very mild case. I had absolutely nothing wrong with me.
So in Howard's mind, everyone's dying all the time.
Yes.
Howard had a 100.2 fever.
Whoa.
I'm not changing my lifestyle at all with 100.2 fever. I'm still going to do the exact thing I was going to do either way. That's not that bad. But
dudes,
whatever I was going to do that day.
LARPing, playing with baby dolls, Pokemon Go.
I might wrap it up. But other than that, do the same thing I would have done that day. So what's crazy is Howard claims he got COVID, even though he's wearing a mask, even though he's been double vaxxed and quadruple boosted. He still got it, and he got it really bad. He was on his deathbed, according to him, and he still says this.
No, Robin, I didn't go anywhere. It was my usual reclusive self. I didn't see a person. I'm telling you. It's insane.
Get it.
Yeah, I don't either. But, man, I went through hell. I first of all must thank a couple of people. I must thank always the scientists who developed the COVID vaccine. Now, this was so bad, this COVID, I've really never been this sick.
Really?
Yeah, I was just so ill.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Why can't he describe one symptom?
But what other evidence do you need to tell you that the vaccines don't work all that well? He's still praising these people for this shit that they gave him that didn't work. He still got sick. He still got very sick.
Yeah, in spite of all his
He
precautions.
still spread it to Beth.
Yeah.
All
And
the
she
things.
got a mild case of it.
Yes.
I really wish he did turn into Imus because it would have been better than this.
I know. It would have been more interesting if he was just saying racist things to college basketball players. It would have been a lot more fun.
Can you imagine what he'd be doing if Baba Booey missed a week last week because he got COVID?
Oh, God, Bob.
Oh, why couldn't you have done it on vacation?
Well, do you
why
remember?
weren't you taking
Do you remember this? I'm sure you do, Potato. When everyone was working from home during the COVID thing and they were doing the Zoom calls, at one point, Gary Del Batte's son comes into the room, Jackson, and gives Gary a big hug. And they're on the air. And Howard, what are you doing, Jackson? Gary, he's not wearing a mask. You allow him to come into the room and hug you? He couldn't believe it. And they're all like, oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that. He was so incredibly ridiculous about this whole thing.
When did he become such a germaphobe? He slow
He's
danced.
always-
He slow danced with Trisha Paytas.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about
What
that.
the fuck? Why
I
would
forgot
you go
to look
close
that
to
up.
her?
I forgot to look that up. Trisha Paytas on America's Got Talent.
He slow danced with her.
I gotta look that up.
It's disgusting.
That is gross.
That's way worse than any of this.
How much were they paying him? That must be some paycheck.
He liked her.
All right. So I can't believe the how this worked on Howard to not even question big pharma and these drugs that everyone was forced to take, even though they don't seem to work for anything. But he continues on.
I want to thank the people who invented the COVID vaccine. I am so flabbergasted. I turned on the TV last night to watch the Golden Globe Awards a little bit, and there was a commercial begging people to get vaccinated for COVID.
Yeah,
Here
they
we
won't
go
get
again.
The new vaccine, yeah.
They won't get the new the new variant is a motherfucker.
Well, okay. So what's the vaccine going to do? You got it, and it's still terrible. It's possible it's actually weakening your immune system. Also, the fact that you don't come in contact with germs at all, that you're just hiding from them all the time, is not good for you in any single way. So, of course, you're going to get even more
How
sick.
many times are you going to get the jab before it stops working for you? Because your body, whatever, just gets used to it.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, it's not the way vaccines have ever worked. They've changed the definition of vaccines for this one, but he continues on.
But we still have people in this country who are anti-vaccine. They're out of their minds.
Even people who took the other vaccines are like vaccine exhausted.
Yeah.
Or vaccine injured.
It takes 2 seconds to go over to your Rite Aid or CVS and get vaccinated, which is, thank God I did.
That's where he went. Huh?
I mean, what a wallop this thing is.
Not Walgreens.
not Walgreens.
But how bizarre is that? Is he hearing the words coming out of his mouth? I did all the things you're supposed to do, and it hit me so hard. Well, then what are you talking about? This is not a good advertisement for the booster.
Right. One way or the other, Howard.
Yeah. So then he starts spitting some ridiculous misinformation.
1 out of every 3 people in the country have COVID right now.
That's retarded.
He thinks 115 million people.
Oh, there's 3 people here. How are you guys feeling?
Oh.
How are 4 out of 5 people feeling on the show?
Hey, wait a second.
Wink, wink.
1 out of 3.
If you're wondering why I'm not there.
1 out of 3 people have COVID right now in America, which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't know why he says things like that.
I'm in a 4-piece band, and right before Christmas, everybody in the band got COVID except me.
Do you hear that?
I think I'm immune.
That's the
75% of America has COVID right now.
That's how statistics work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing
the
drunk
smallest sample
math.
size.
We're doing,
smallest sample size possible.
2 out of 3 people believe statistics like that.
Yes.
Do you guys know that your hairstylist always dies before the age of 60? I know, I can't believe it. 100% of the time. From COVID. All right, this is the last clip I have on here. Because let's find out why Howard decided to actually do the show this Monday, even though he's still testing positive for COVID.
Stunning and brave.
Now, I also want to thank my buddy, Dr. Agus, who told me to come do the show. I wasn't going to do the show today.
Uh-huh.
And he told me it would be a good idea. He says, what did he say to me? He said, with COVID,
Don't be a...
you got to hear this.
Oh,
He wrote me this inspirational note, and I go, what the hell does that mean?
I'm leaving the pauses in. This is his show.
Let me see.
This is Howard's
I'll read
show
it to
now.
you.
I'm reading my
Dr.
phone.
we can all
Agus said
use
to
some
me,
inspiration.
First show in 4 weeks. He's not ready. Yeah.
I really want you to take charge of the residual symptoms, not have them take charge of you. So I wrote, what the hell does that mean?
I'll tell you what that means. Your buddy Dr. Agus knows you're a hypochondriac and is trying to tell you it's not that bad. I know everyone in my life has gotten through this and gotten back to work the next week. You need to do that, Howard. It's really, you're fine.
Hobbies Podcasts, WA.